Greetings and salutations. It's another episode of Not a Linux Guru Guy coming at you from Denver, Colorado. Today we're going to take a look at Linux Mint as a new recommended distro for new users. So let's do that when we get on the other side of the intro. Now today I wanted to look at Linux Mint because in light of being a distro recommended for new users, how graphically using. I want to talk about that a little bit before we dig into that. I want to talk about what I'm planning on doing with the series I'm doing. Started out last time with Elementary OS, doing Linux Mint today, so I want to talk about the whole overarching series of videos I'm doing, what I'm going to do with it. So first I want to let you know that I'm going to start looking at this from the perspective of a new user coming from Windows or Mac OS. They're used to graphical user interfaces. So that's going to be one thing I'm going to test on. How each distro does with that, or how much of it you have to revert to a terminal to get things done, and that kind of thing. But I've also got several criteria I'm going to use. I'm going to show you here in just a second. Okay, you can see on your screen now my new user spreadsheet for your evaluating OSs. Yeah, because I did the last one on Elementary OS over here, but I didn't really lay all this out for you before it started. And I came with this just recently today, what I wanted to do with it. So here's what I'm going to do. Here's all the things I'm going to evaluate on: website navigation, ease of installation, whether it has a guided tour or not, that kind of thing, how good it is. Install programs out of the box. In other words, does it have a web browser, an email client, file manager, word processor, media player, that kind of thing. Also the availability of programs, how widely available are programs, are they restricted or what? How easy to set up printer, keyboard shortcut setups, themes, wallpapers, updating, ease of menu, activity pro. Now there's other things I could put on here. Some things like things that maybe you would do when you set up your system. However, I'm putting this on here for general people. As somebody, one of my ideas is that new user just wants something to work out of the box, so they don't have to do a lot of installation of extra stuff. So the more that happens, the more ready it is to use once you install it, the better off it is for the new user. Of course, now there's going to be some tweaking. They'll learn how to do these kind of things more and more as they get used to the system. Starting out, they need something that just works out of the box for things like web browsing, email clients, file manager, word processor, play movies, and things like that. So yeah, we'll evaluate all that based on that. Okay, so this, and we're going to give 10 points to each one for a total of 100 points possible. And 2 points are about, we'll make up the 10 points here, right down there through there. Here I evaluated Elementary OS based on my thing. Website navigation, I gave it 10. It's a good website, easy to navigate. Ease of installation, I gave 8. It was pretty easy. I don't know, the only problems I had, I think, was a little bit odd thing in one of them. But anyway, it's pretty good. I gave it 10 for a guided tour. I had a guided tour. It seemed like it was pretty decent. I didn't explore it that much, but yeah, I had a guided tour. Then I had how I'm doing this, I'm giving 1 point if they have it, and 2 points if it's a good one. Now, how do you find good? Well, this is going to be somewhat subjective based on my experiences and stuff on all these kind of things. But some of these, like email client on Elementary OS, I really didn't know how well that worked, so I was kind of stuck on that. I gave it a 1 because I had an email client, and I assume it works well or decently well, but I don't know if it does. If I had Thunderbird there, I'd have given it a 2 because I know Thunderbird works well and I know how it works. So it's part of what people are used to, because you have to learn a lot of new client, new email managers, new ways of working with stuff, then you got problems or issues sometimes. Now, Elementary OS didn't have a word processor, so I get 0 for that. And it had a media player, although I don't know how good it was either. File Manager, I think it was not as feature rich as Nemo from my brief experience working with it, but it was pretty decent looking. Now, program availability, I gave them a 5 on that because they restricted the ability to install third-party apps out of the box. The only way you can do that is if it's a flat pack, and if it's not a flat pack, then you're out of luck. You have to install a dev file. You can't do it unless you know how to install GDebi and all that kind of stuff. The new user probably isn't, so then you revert internal stuff. So I said, hey, 5 on that. I use the set printer, and I had problems on that from the last video, so I had 5 on that. Keyboard shortcut stuff is pretty easy. Matter of fact, it's better than Linux Mint in that regard because it had all of them preset, all the key combinations preset for a lot of things. Linux Mint doesn't have preset. Now you can put them in Linux Mint, but it's a lot of work if you have to put in a go-to thing for every workspace possible there, that kind of thing. Themes and wallpapers, they didn't have any theme function. They also had decent selection of wallpapers, but they weren't all that big of wasn't as big as some of the others. So I gave it a 7. That's pretty might be a little heavy on that. Updating process was easy and worked, 10. And then ease of menu activating programs, I gave it 10. I like the menu pretty well. It was workable for me. So I gave 80 for a score for Elementary OS for that one. Now we're going to go through Cinnamon and do the same thing. And I have to be honest with you, I like Cinnamon. I use it as my daily driver, so I know how it works. Linux Mint and Cinnamon. And I'm probably going to this will probably be the benchmark for most of them, as you'll probably see here in a little bit. But we're going to install Cinnamon Mint on the boxes and go from there, okay? Now let's go over to the web browser and check out their website. Now they have a home download project, so it's easy to get to your download page. They have and it's easy to get to these. Pretty easy to navigate this. Here you have your Linux Mint 20.1. This is the last release of it. And then you have LMDE4, that's Linux Mint Debian Edition. And then you have all versions, and you got documentation. Pretty easy thing. You got projects, about, links if you want to investigate more, things like that. So I went to download it up here. This is actually a blog-like thing here. Update your computer. That's one thing. It's kind of a blessing, and also it's a curse, because if you don't have some people, if they don't have a thing hounding them all the time to update, they aren't going to do it. But yeah, that's why I think Windows had the function where they force you to update at a certain point and say, okay, you've been holding on this too long, we're going to update you. But it's also easier to download when you have the time and the ability to do it. So you just have to remember to do it. Yeah. Anyway, let's go to the download section. Here's where you download your Linux Mint 220-0.1 Ulysses. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Ulysses, something like that. And the latest release. You got here, and you got your choice: Cinnamon, Mate, or XFCE. XFCE. And yeah, so I'm gonna on all these, I'm gonna download their flagship or the first one they present, which is Cinnamon in this case. And Yeah, first I was going to do XFCE because I wanted to look at that, but I thought, well, it's not fair if I download that and I'm lost and stuff on it. But, so I decided to just download the flagship amount, even though I know this, have it installed on this computer actually. But we're going to do that. So I did that one. And so we're going to go and do that. We're going to go to the install process now real quick. So anyway, we're going to start Linux Mint. This is boots up into a live version, and then you start the install from there. So we'll start the install. There it goes, it's going, yay. Got to cooking. So yeah, it's just boots up in the live CD of it. Live, what do you call it? A live bootable disk. And there you are. You click on install, and pow. Away she blows. Now it's pretty easy installation on this usually. They continue English, yep, we got English. English US, yep, on the keyboard. It's all my optimum courses. This is important because this allows you to what it is some of these are proprietary video formats. Some things like Debian and things like that won't install these automatically. You have to go in and fiddle with the repositories and stuff like that to make it work. So it installs these multimedia codecs, things and drivers and other modules and things that you might need for your hardware. This installs those automatically. If you click it, it installs it automatically, but yeah. So we'll say we're going to install those multimedia codecs. Okay. Now it'll have another option here to select if you have an operating system, another operating system already on your disk, that you can install this alongside of it. Which maybe you want to do if you're a Windows user, or you want to keep it and you're not really dead sure if you want to install it. You're not dead sure that you want to use Linux for the rest of your life or for the foreseeable future. So you want to give it a shot and give it a try on your computer, see if it works, see if it installs, see if everything works as you expect it will. You can install alongside of it. But since this is a virtual disk, it doesn't have anything on it, and it says erase disk install Linux Mint. So that's what we're going to choose. You also click something else. You go and do your partitions yourself. We're going to install now. It's going to tell you what it's going to do. It's going to create a partition 1, partition 3 on the SDA, and it's going to do root. So it's going to change partition tables. It's going to do that. So you say OK, continue. Assuming you wanted to start working on it. Now while it's starting, it's already started its install process. Copying files right now, you just can't see it because now you got to set up where you are. You're in Denver. I'm in Denver at least, but you may not be. You may be in Timbuktu for all I know. So you go to Denver, and wherever you're at, you click it, and you put in your name. This creates your user. Whoops. And computer name, we're going to call this Rick's Linux Mint. How about that? Name Rick, that'll work. Okay. Now, yeah, you can encrypt your home folder if you wanted to, but we're not going to mess with that because it's just a virtual disk that will probably rop out here in a minute anyway. That's what you show us. So you see it's already been copying files. It's always that far along. and that helps you to speed up the process of installation. Anyway, we're going to take a break here, and we'll come back to it as soon as it's done. We are finished. Then test installation went smooth without a hitch, at least on that end. So now let's restart and see what we got. Oh, yeah. That's one thing about installing Cinnamon in these virtual machines. Usually, there's a software rendering. So now you're welcome. You come to this welcome screen. Welcome to Linux Mint, and it guides you through it. First steps. You have to choose your panel layout, desktop colors. So you want blue, dark blue. See how I changed that automatically over there? So you want modern. See how I changed that here? And then it takes you to system snapshots, which is their backup system. You launch that and it'll take you through that. Driver manager. You can check to make sure you don't need additional drivers for your computer. Launch that. Update manager. Yeah. You did that, it'd show a lot of updates right now. We're not going to do that, but yeah. The update manager is pretty cool actually. Here, I'll show you what it looks like. Welcome to the update manager. Checking on it. Check and see what update you need. For switch local mirror, you use the option to switch local mirrors. And apply the update. A new version of the update manager is available. So let's update the update manager. Yeah. We're not going to do that for now. Otherwise we get into too much stuff there. System settings. Okay. Go through. Yeah, it's real easy to configure Linux Mint pretty well out of the box. Software manager. There's over about 60,000 applications available. That's one thing about Linux Mint. It does have a lot of applications. It's got Debian and Ubuntu. It's based on Ubuntu, so it's got Debian and Ubuntu applications through the app manager, app package manager. And then you got Linux Mint's own distribution that the repositories they have added in there too. So you got a lot of stuff to look through. Anyway, yeah. So that's one thing you need to evaluate, I think, with the software manager. So we'll look at that. You can get a guess of what software manager looks like. It's fairly standard basic software manager, I think. Generating it. First time you had to generate this cache. You know, Spotify, Audacity, GIMP, Libre, Minecraft, Wine, VirtualBox, No Maps, Inkscape, Scribus, Gparted, Google Earth. There's a few editor's picks on these. You have your, if you want to browse like Office, like we browsed financial. I guess it'd be Office here. So you go Office. And Nano, text editor, LibreOffice, all this stuff. And it should say everything that's installed already on your machine is a little green checkbox next to it. You know, you don't have to reinstall this. So it's got LibreOffice installed and all that good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's got a lot more than just financial in here, but yeah. That's where you find it. Let's install something, yay. Joe, user-friendly full screen text editor. Let's just say we're going to install Joe here. I don't know anything about Joe, I've never used it before. Oh, Joe looks like a screen text editor. One thing they have reviews down here, we reviews on these too. Many times that are saved me from destruction. Fine. Small and powerful. I love it. Best CLI for 10 years. All this kind of stuff. So let's install Joe and see what it looks like. So you click install. It's installing. It says it's installing at least. And then you gotta give it your okay to do this. And it clicks away. Installing it, and yeah, it shouldn't take too long to install a text editor, I wouldn't think. Especially a command line one. Now let's launch it and see what we got here. Oh, we'll look at it later apparently. That's kind of hard unless you're telling it to do a certain thing on command line. You're not going to be easy to have it launch in a graphical user interface like this. Anyway, you can install whatever you want on here. And so yeah, it's pretty nice. Just do searches for things here. Like I wanted to do my GNU cache. I'm going to install this now, but okay, can't find a package apparently. Okay, how about cache? There it is. Oh, you have to go to the, okay. You can do it, they have flat hubs. Anything you can do flat pack on is got in parentheses flat hubs next to it. So you can always tell whether you're installing a flat hub package or one directly in the repositories. This one up here. Apparently I didn't capitalize it correctly or something. That's been up there before. So yeah. So that's the software manager, which you can get to from the screen. Now let's look at anyway, yeah, you got plenty of options there. Let's go down here. We aren't able to change display because of the conflicting software rendering with the drivers and the VirtualBox driver managers, but anyway, just know that on regular hardware it does work. As you can see on my computer, it doesn't have a web browser. Of course it does. Good internet. It's got Firefox web browser, Thunderbird email, so it's got email client. It's also got a cool function here called web apps, just like Ice and Peppermint, where you can set the containerized version of a website. So you can have it like an app and have it in the menu and pull it up as an app in the window of its own without any other stuff around it. Office, it's got the whole LibreOffice suite, so of course it has a LibreOffice writer for its word processor. It's got a spreadsheet and all the other stuff that goes along with that. So it's got a full suite of that. It's even got LibreOffice Base out of the box. So you shouldn't have any problem with all your web browsing. I mean, with all your word processing and spreadsheet calculation, all that you can do those right out of the box without any trouble. And so that checks off those three. It's got a file manager, which is Nemo, which is pretty good. There's Joe's own editor. That's one we installed. And it's got more than just one thing there. Anyway, let's see. Administration, that would be where you find it. And I think it's either called Files or it could be called Nemo. Depending on what the thing says. Well, you can find it here probably. Nemo Files. It's got this. It's a fairly good thing. You set up any way you want. And I can show you how I have mine set up. I think you've already seen it before. And yeah, it's very configurable. And I like Nemo quite a bit, actually. So yeah, got a good file manager on it. And let's see what else do we need. Music player, media player. What does it have out of the box for that? Well, let's see. Sound and video. Got a celluloid for a video player, media player. It's got a hypnotics, which is a TV. You can watch TV on this puppy. Live TV stations are I guess allowed them to do that. And you got Rhythm Box, which is a music player. So yeah, check, 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 check. Those are all pretty good selections, I think. Knew those pretty easy. So it's got all those checks off all those with 2s on all of them pretty much. Web browser, Firefox, check. Emo client, Thunderbird, check. File manager, Emo is a great file manager. Music player is Rhythmbox, pretty music player. I prefer a different one, but I can install it myself. Pretty easy out of this. And we have the music media player, celluloid, which I really love that too. So that's my preference. It does about as good as VLC does on all the things. Plus, it's got some features I like about it. So yeah, as far as out of the box programs, you got all the stuff. So it's easy to just you're ready to go once you get out of the box. Okay, now we've done that. Program availability. It's got a lot of programs. How easy is to set up the printer? Know how that was in the other one. Let's see what they got. What's happened here? Let's see. Printer administration. Now you go to setup. This button up here, and you can go down to appearance preferences. There you got themes. Take a look at that in a minute. And we got preferences. Hardware, that's where a printer would be. I get to go down there. So CPU is having trouble keeping up with this apparently. There's printers. No printers figured yet. Add. See how easy this is. Okay. Network printer. Find network printer. And FPP connection. Here you have to know a little bit about how to set up your printer. What to look for. If you have it connected to a USB port on your computer, it's probably a little easier. So what you just do is follow the examples down here they have. And you print colon // and your IP address for your printer. // IPP, which is a Q. And that should work for it. Just now searching for the drivers. And let's see whether it has a driver in here automatically out of the box or not. So there it is. And it has that there automatically. That's good enough for me. Apply. Print test page. Submitted. Doesn't seem to be doing anything yet. Naturally. Enable. And it worked, yay. After I got the IP address correct. Right on there. And apparently disabled it, and I had to re-enable it in order for it to work. Yeah, so it worked. Print out test page. So it was a little difficult to get it going, but not as bad as the other ones. So printer check, I'd say that probably gives me. And keyboard shortcut setup. Shortcut setup now. Let's go ahead and skip the themes wallpaper since we're here. Themes are pretty cool here. I mean, you can select your different themes. It's got a lot of out-of-box selections. You can install additional themes too if you want to. And you got several dark themes: dark red, dark sand. I think I got dark blue because of that selection right there. Yep, dark blue, and then you got that white. Get a mini blue here for buttons. You select, mix, and match these to your heart's content if you want to. Also install various things by installing more themes on here. By going up here to add, remove themes, and you click on that so it refreshes your themes list. You have all these themes, you can just click on install. Say I wanted to do this from here, or say C black. Click on that, it's installed. Boom, out of the box. Go here. There it is. And also you can see if icons. The C black icon is in here, but I don't think it is. Some of these themes have icons set to go with it, others don't, so you have to check and see. Anyway, if you're curious about how to install icons on Cinnamon, other icon sets, you can look at my previous video on that, which I'll put down in the description. And so that's the themes settings. And if you want to install wallpapers, that's a different spot. Right click on here, and you go down and change desktop background. I have several of these, and you can go through here. You have those which are like the Linux Mint versions of things. You got all these additional ones here. You get for Yolanda, Ulysses, which is the current version. You got all these here. And you got pictures. You can get your own pictures, your own images. Set those up if you want. You can add more by going down here and clicking add new folder. So you can go to, say you want NASA pictures. And you click on that and go to NASA folder, add the folder, and all the pictures appear there. Yeah, so on that I get to 10. Let's see now, updating. Well, we already went through updating. Matter of fact, updating is pretty easy when you see a little marker down here. You know, right here, it says 2 updates available. Only 2? Wow. There'll be more than that. Let's do this then. You can see what happens. Update manager. And it's processing it. Now you get all its updates. Now this is what I'm expecting, a ton of updates. Usually it's over these things, you get more updates they have on them when you install the ISOs. That makes more sense of it. Okay. I'm not going to do all that right now, but yeah. See, you just click on that, you can get your mirrors set up, and when you're ready, you install updates. If there's one you don't want, just click on this box and uncheck it. You want to install that update. So, and that gets a good check off on it, so that's all rapidly easy to do. Now we have the menu system. The menu is pretty easy, as you saw. Click on it, it's a cascading style menu, so as you hover over it, things will appear. So it's easy to find to browse. You also have this screen up here, you just start typing when you click on it and you pull up anything, like say you want Power Manager. Oops, just put power out, I'll get some. Power Manager, there it is. Can't type R3 today. And it tells you all the different things, selections. And if you're on a laptop, it'll have more selection than just this. But anyway, I usually one of the first things I do is go to Power Manager on this and say never. Well, at least never on the let's do the same thing with screensaver. Down here, screensavers first option, and turn that off. You don't want screensaver on, and I don't want to lock the computer up when you go to sleep. If it ever does by chance happen to happen. So you get all those options. So yeah, that's pretty easy. Menu's pretty easy to work with and easy to pull up programs you need and stuff like that. And you can pin anything here you want when it's up. Like say this terminal. Say I don't ever want to, oops, start Firefox accidentally. There's Firefox, Lenny Smith Firefox. Yeah, you want to say you don't want terminal to appear here. Just go unpin from panel. Click on, I'll bring it back. The menu. Your preferences. Administration. And terminal. And then last down here say pinned panel. And it does. So you're just going to set there to start up if you need to. So that works out of the box like that. So that's pretty easy. And the only other thing we had to do was to do keyboard shortcuts. Yeah. So do that. Just go keyboard. Right there. And you got shortcuts here. Same thing as in the same processes as in elementary, the last video. Now, what I was talking about, the elementary does better than the experiment is this here. See, you have all these windows. Tiling and snapping. Yeah, so you have a lot of these have super left arrow button. Just hold down the super button, which is your Windows button, or as they also call it, meta button. Anyway, inner workspace and then inner monitor. So here you have all these move window to workspace. So you can move a window to a different workspace when it's on. This is ones that don't have any assigned keys. You have to go and assign them all. And elementary had all these already pre-assigned for you. All you had to do is look. You don't have to change them. So you have to go through all these workspace, move to workspace. Inner monitor, you can move windows up and down, right and left to monitors, wherever they're positioned. I got mine up and down, so I got monitor up, and this is the down monitor. So I can move this screen to up monitor if I wanted to on my laptop. Of course, this is a virtual machine, so it doesn't have a monitor above. It doesn't know it does, so I can't show you here. But anyway, shift super up. Default on that. Now workspaces, same thing over here. You can go to any workspace you want to. Push workspace 1, 2 through 10 and on down. The only way to do that is, since they don't have any of them assigned, is you gotta enter those in. All these. Now launchers is kind of funny because some of them, like Terminal, have the standard Control-Alt-T for the launch thing. Other than like Help Browser, unassigned. Calculator, unassigned. Launch email client, unassigned. Launch web browser, unassigned. Home folder, Super E. Search, unassigned. So any of these you want to assign, you can assign them through here. Then you got all these over here, but you also have your custom shortcuts, which you saw how they done there. It's a little bit different, but it works fairly same. You add custom shortcut here. Click that. You enter the name and you enter the command that it needs. And then you click on this. Click here and add. See if you know what the command is, you're going to find it in the system. So I just show you how it works here. LibreOffice, Writer, LibreOffice, Writer. And you add that to it. Pops up there. Then you assign a key to it. Basically do Control Shift E. No, I usually use W on that. Shift Control W. Nope. And then you add more, or you can just leave it there. And when I press Shift Control W, it'll open up LibreOffice in here. Probably more than what I want to do right now for this. Yeah, so the shortcut keys are pretty easy to use in here. They're easy to find, easy to use. About as easy. The only thing, since it doesn't have it all set up like the elementary did, I'm going to knock it down about 2 points. Pretty easy otherwise, but otherwise you got to set up some. Most users aren't going to worry too much about workspaces and stuff like that. The other thing, Windows doesn't have workspaces like Linux does. One advantage of Windows. Right now, I got some third workspace on my computer, so I can separate out my different bottom things I'm using. This has only got GNOME box on it, and Workspace 2 has other things. So it's helpful to have that at times, and it's helpful to use it. But if you just want to do the web and do what you're used to like in Windows, you can do it pretty simply in here without too much trouble. That's why Linux is known as one of the better distros for new users. Okay, so website navigation. Yep, it's easy. 10. Ease of installation. No trouble at all. in. Guided tour. Yeah, it's a good guided tour actually. Okay, web browser, yeah. Yeah, the only reason I gave Epiphany 2 is because I know I've messed with it a little bit before in last week and was able to plumb a website, stuff like that. I didn't get too complicated with it, but it seemed to work fine as far as web browser goes. I don't know about syncing and all that other stuff like most of them do, but Firefox can sync. And it's based on WebKit, so it's a Firefox-based web browser. Anyway, email client, Thunderbird, or the right back of my hand. It's good for file manager. Nemo is excellent. Word processor, yep, it's got that. And LibreOffice, the whole thing. And media player, yep, it's got a good media player in it. And the music player and all those other things. So that goes past there. Now, program availability, is that program availability? I'll give it a 9. There's a few programs you can't really get very well in Linux Mint that you have trouble getting, but it's not too many. And easy set printer. Printer, yeah, it's better than 5 for sure, but I think it probably was a little bit difficult. It wasn't easy sneezy, at least on the virtual box. I installed Linux Mint before on this computer, where I just went out, saw it, grabbed it, and popped it in. So, yeah, I'm going to put it about 8, I think. I was able to do it all graphically at least, and I didn't have to go to terminal and install a bunch of cups and everything else to make it work. Keyboard shortcut setups, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to put that 8 too because I think it's a good easy system. Not as good as it didn't have some setup, but really it's kind of marginal because how many new users in Windows are going to be wanting these workspaces? Eventually you'll get there, but probably not right at first, not for a transitioning over. These wallpapers, yeah, it's not as customizable as KDE, for example, but it is highly customizable. I know how. If you get comfortable with terminal, you can actually customize it even more than what I did there. So yeah, it's pretty customizable. But you can see my laptop here in a minute. See how I customize my Linux Mint on my laptop. And themes and wallpapers. Yeah, so I'm going to give that a 8 too. Updating. Yeah, it's got a good updater and it lets you know when it needs updating. Use the menu and activating programs. Well, you saw how easy the menu was, so yeah. I'm going to get a 10 too. Okay, that's 93. There's your gold standard of Linux Mint. Next, we're going to either do Pop! OS or Manjaro. We'll see what that's like, okay? We get over on that side of it. If you have any distros you want new that are known for being recommended as good for new users, let me know and I'll add those to the list. See, I got a few more spots, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I can review. Next is Pop! OS and Manjaro and Peppermint OS. Those are the 3 I have now. There's one other, MX Linux. I think I want to do that one at some point. And seems like there's another 1 or 2 that I thought I've heard about. FX, things like that. It's supposed to be user friendly. So we'll review those too for new users, see how actually new user friendly they are. Yeah, compared to Linux Mint and Elementary OS. We'll see what it happens. So now you can see my desktop here. This is my desktop. This is wallpaper from NASA. Here's my workspaces you see up here. There's workspace 1, which is where we're at. So you can see the whole gamut. See, here is workspace 2. Oops. And workspace 3 is where my known boxes is. Back to workspace 1. Now now you see I got these candy icons installed that I like, as you well know by now if you've been watching previous videos. I installed them by terminal process. Well, I don't know if that again, but I wanted to show you what my customized. So you can customize them pretty easily, pretty well. It is customizable, highly, and I'll show you what theme I'm using. I think the episode number 4. It's Numic Cinnamon Transparent, in case you want to know what it is. 3.2, and there's candy icons I have set up there. So that's how I got mine set up currently. That's transparent, so you don't see the bar going across here. It looks like it's just floating icons in space. Icons in space. That sounds like a good book. Yeah. Linux Mint, I'm always familiar with it. I knew it was going to be good, rank high on the skill, and it did. Even I think my subjectiveness in favor of Linux Mint probably didn't factor into it as much, since we're all grading them on the same scale. And you can download it yourself from my website. Yeah, so this will give you an idea of what you like best as we go through this distros series on new users to Linux. What OS works best for you? What works best out of the box for you? So, yeah. So hopefully you've enjoyed this, and I think I better end it now before it gets so much longer. And we'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell if you're so inclined to do so. I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. And until next time, may the Linux force be with you. Bye.